Chris and Katie, are you guys able to turn on your cameras? Just thanks. Uh, just easier on our end. I'm guessing you guys can't hear anything yet. We got audio issues here at City Hall, so we're just ironing those out still.
I can hear you. I can't hear anything else. And
Okay.
I can't turn on my camera because my phone keeps freezing when I turn it on.
No worries. No, so yeah, we can hear you guys. We're just not quite able to hear the room yet. So
Okay.
stand by.
those members, Mr. Holt, Mr. Crosby, what are your thoughts on this? My preference would be to wait for all five, but also, now we're being told we're good. Cheryl, you can hear me now? Mr. Holt, Doctor, can either of you hear me? Spencer can apparently hear me, but we could come back to the matter of the title. Any items that we're scheduled to vote on, we shouldn't proceed without them. Without they're intending to be here. Yeah. And at this point, it's just we still have 40 minutes. We can get through those in 40 minutes. We'll give it another few minutes. How many times during the day I wish I had an extra 20 minutes? This is not always how I plan on spending it. There's some odd feedback occurring. Spencer? Mr. Wolf has just indicated that he cannot yet hear anything in the council chambers. Do these become the growth fund committee chambers during this time, or is it always council chambers? Always council chambers. Always council chambers. Yeah. Yes, Mr. Wolf. I don't know if I need to turn this on or not, if anybody can hear me. Is there anything preventing us if Mr. Wolf and Mr. Dockler have, or Ms. Dockler have the materials in front of them, is there anything preventing us from putting them on speakerphone right here and having a discussion with them? They can view the visuals from here's Ms. Dockler, so okay. Here's the situation. Chris, how soon can you be here? I'll check in with Chris and see how he feels about moving forward. So I just let him know that Mr. Dockler's just arrived and asked him how he'd feel about proceeding with just the four of us. Maybe it gets 6 before he responds. He's responding now. Go ahead. So let's move forward with that. At this point, Chris is, unless it gets fixed in the next couple minutes, Chris is just asking to be marked absent for tonight. But I'd like the record to show that it was a technical issue rather than his absence. Ms. Doctor, while we were waiting to fix the technical issues, there was a brief discussion about the minutes from the last Growth Fund Committee meeting. Specifically, there was mention of the motion about tabling the election for chair. The minutes indicate that the motion was to the discussion is important to to table this matter. And Mr. Wolf, you remarked that your intent was that the motion be to table the matter until October. Yeah, the minutes just didn't reflect a time frame, and I just wanted to reflect that I made that suggestion. I think the motion included a tabling until October. And Ms. Doctor, you had seconded that motion, so we wanted your input on that before we move forward. Was that your intention last week or last meeting, as you recall?
You're asking me to remember something that was a while ago, but yes.
Yes. Okay. You're very good. So with that revision, any further discussion about the minutes? Hearing none, I'd be looking for a motion to approve the minutes. So moved. motion from Mr. Holt. Second from Ms. Doppler. Further comments or discussion? Questions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved. With that, Mr. Baumbach, sir. Item 3, countrywide sanitation flex-paced loan request.
Members of the committee, Chair Weber, thank you for your time. Rachel Thomas is on the phone, who's going to make a much better presentation than I can, but she's not able to do so. But on behalf of BR Investment, which is a real estate holding company for countrywide sanitation, they provide roll-off and sanitary refuse service to business and individual homeowners within Grand Forks and within a 120-mile radius here. The company focuses on custom commercial hauling, residential contracted demolition. This is a source of feedstock that feeds into the recycling division of the company, which adds value in discarded materials because of cleaning, sorting, and baling, and then they're sold to Minneapolis markets, really achieving that primary sector type of company we look for. Due to continued growth into additional communities, required more space, and they need to build administrative operations, and they need to build additional square footage. To accommodate that, they're putting on 7,000 square feet of corporate headquarters, a standalone building, to be located at 1925 North 42nd Avenue. Project is expected to be $900,000 of investment and will create 3 jobs in the next 2 years. At the $900,000 project, the company equity would be $225,000. This is a flex-based request to buy that interest rate down on the note, which is at 5.75% to 1%, on the note of $675,000. Culminating in a request of $95,547, which would leverage the Bank of North Dakota at just over $177,000. Rachel's been here before and invested in the community time and again. The loan to value is what we expect it to be, and of course she's provided second mortgage on the property and a personal guarantee. Again, Rachel would love to be here and make that presentation herself. She's on to some very exciting things. And her lender, Perry Hillman with First State Bank, is also on the line. But I will suffice for now and answer any questions you might have on the project.
Very good. Thank you, sir. And a quick note of order. We're not currently recording, so we're taking handwritten notes of the minutes. Is that the situation here? Very good. Mr. Baumbach, I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but how many interactions has Countrywide now had with the Growth Fund, with the JDA?
I don't know the exact number. It may have been 4 times. They have in the summer like 3 active loans. I know they've repaid a number, if not 1 so far.
This project did come before this body in 2017. It just is now going forward finally. So that was approved, but the funding was never dispersed, and now we're back. Kind of a refresh with the project basically completed. So the disbursement should take place relatively quickly.
Very good. And everything is current with Countrywide, of course. Yeah, in fact, this project is one more in a series of investments from a growing local company, keep continuing to drive wealth into Grand Forks year after year. So I wish that Rachel and your team could be with us, but thank you for your ongoing investments in our community. Any further questions or comments about this item? I have a question, Mr. Hall.
So, Ms. Richards, this exact request came before this body in 2017, right? Is that what you said?
Not exactly, but a project to build this facility.
Okay, so there's been changes. I just was wondering, I support it and will support it. I was just wondering if we even needed to take action if it had already been approved by this group. But it sounds like since there's changes, that would be the difference.
Based on the time this collapsed and the changes, yes, it's basically a new project for bookkeeping purposes, but if it sounds familiar, it's because you've seen something similar.
Okay.
Mr. Baumbach.
So just looking at the 2017 loan that was approved, so that was $66,126. Is that correct? That was not utilized. And so the new one is $95,000. Is that just because the size of the project is larger, so the interest buy down is higher? Or?
principal amount invested has gone up a little bit. The only reason there was a delay is due to some of the on-site work that needed to take place of stormwater, that's the words I'm looking for. Stormwater investment, so it's just the size of the project has increased.
Important comments, questions, thanks. Anything further? Looking for a motion approval. I have a motion from Mr. Giovanni, second from Ms. Doctor. Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Mr. Bombeck, item 4, mobile recon update and release of funds.
Yes, thank you once again. In just a few minutes, introduce our friends Mobile Recon Systems, one of the newest UAS companies here in Grand Forks. They're celebrating a year since they visited you last and made the investment to come to Grand Forks from another state entirely. They made a lot of for the year, so I'll let Tom introduce that, who is here in person, so we get around the technical issue. But just before that, I'll remind you that in November 2019, the JDA did approve an EDA RF loan in the amount of $400,000 to Mobile Recon Systems, side by side with the North Dakota Development Fund and Choice Financial as the lead lender. By taking the lead of the North Dakota Development Fund at the time, the JDA released half the dollars on day one and required another request be made for the second half of that loan. Written in were two possible triggers for the funding. One would be immediate sales projection, or second, making progress towards the goal. Both the North Dakota Development Fund and JDA agreed to that format at the time. The second tranche, the North Dakota Development Fund recently reached an agreement to approve the second tranche of funding, and they hope to be lockstep with the Growth Fund and the JDA on this. So we're here today supporting this request. Just as a quick reminder, the second tranche will be made under the same terms and format as the first. So that would include a loan rate of 3.75% over 84 months, and secured still by existing equipment. And just as the first, the second tranche is fully backed by personal guarantees of the principals, who are Mike and Sandy Dow, who aren't here with us today, but Tom Nicholas, who's CEO of Mobile Recon Systems, he's just going to provide you more of that update of what the years look like over the past year. I'm sure he'd be happy to answer any questions, and of course, I'd be happy to come back up and help out too.
Mr. Rickle, welcome.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here again. And as Brandon said, it's been almost a year since we requested the funding, and so much has happened. We actually had a celebration last week, an open house at our facility. It was also the quarterly Drone Biz meeting and the AUVSI, the National UAS Association meeting as well. So we were pleased with that. 100 people showed up, including Mayor Buczynski. So it was quite an event. Created a lot of excitement. The future, of course, is always unpredictable, and again with COVID for the last 6 months. So what I'd like to do is take a few minutes here to highlight what we've accomplished and where we see things going with that. As Brandon said, the returns and the growth, part of that too, I'd like to mention was we located in Forks County, create employment opportunities here. We had a target of at least 13 jobs in 2 years and increased economic activity in the area. And we've made great progress in meeting each of those requirements. To just highlight a few of those here. First, we embraced being in Grand Forks. Within a month of receiving initial funding, we had officially moved our headquarters from Kentucky to here. Set up shop first with an office at the Center for Innovation on the UND campus, and then in May, began a lease. Actually, the lease began April 1st because of COVID. We couldn't move right away. Bought it for our R&D facility with shop and offices at the Brown Corporation campus, which is where we currently are. My wife and I moved here in June, and the founders, Mike and Sandy Dow, are in the process of planning their move, expected to be here by the end of the year. They would likely have already moved here, but again, because of COVID, they couldn't travel here until the first time was late summer. I believe it was in August. So anyway, we're getting that going now. On the hiring front, we're on plan and creating jobs in Grand Forks. To date, we've made 7 new hires. 3 of those are recent engineering grads from UND. 2 other
opportunities to move back to Grand Forks, one from the Twin Cities, one from Kansas. Those are 2 additional hires. And then Terry Sando, who you may know is heading our business development. We also hired 2 part-time interns who are current UND students, and hope to employ them as they're available through graduation and beyond, which is an indication of how well it's working out with the students here so far. So with the balance, we have 8 full-time employees. They're likely to be getting 3 by the end of the first quarter of 2021, so really ahead of the schedule to hit the 13 by the end of the second year. In addition to the hiring, we're contributing in other ways to the local economy. We have a path to maximize local sourcing of our components, local being in the U.S., but what we're finding is that as close to Grand Forks as possible is better. And that applies to both products and services, and we've already engaged with Paragon Pro, Ideal Aerosmith, Anchor Marketing, Express Pros, and Prodigy Marketing at UND. We're also coordinating test plans with the Northern Plains UAS test site. That's actually one of the primary reasons we came here. We've adopted Airtonomy's flight system, and we're working with to configure our drones for uses, including windmill inspections with XLMD. And Skyscopes is a great partner for us, who are working with them on tower inspections and other things. We're also working on proposals for research grants with both UND and NDSU. NDSU actually put us down on just this past Friday to spearhead and create the agenda for their first bioagricultural engineering seminar of the year. And that actually turned out to be quite successful. We brought in 3 of the companies that were participating in our open house last week. And then we're sponsoring a senior design project in mechanical engineering at UND for the year for propeller development. The result, we hope, will be propellers we can make locally to replace Chinese vendors. And on that last point, we really see tremendous opportunity just to expand the UAS ecosystem here through encouraging companies to move here, to do things like create UAV components and design and manufacture UAV power systems. This ecosystem and working with partners here has already created additional opportunities for us, and other companies we're working with outside the area are quite interested in developing their own businesses themselves with the success with us. On the revenue generation side, I acknowledge that we have not made progress we'd like to with sales. COVID-19 has presented almost impossible hurdles to overcome. But we've used that time to lay the foundation to be back on track and achieve those sales in the months and years ahead. Just a little background on that. Our sales target that was set for the year was based on starting in October 2019. Funding came through in December. We actually started in January. About the time we began executing, it was by mid-March, things were shutting down with COVID. And so 3 factors with that impacted us. First, supply chain disruptions. We had where we couldn't get metal cut, parts sourced, and so on. We couldn't even make drones for several months. Potential customers weren't thinking about buying. Most was just thinking about surviving and what their budgets were going to be like. And our initial marketing plans were actually heavily weighted toward trade shows, and those have all been canceled or postponed and still are. So we changed our trajectory. It's not a full pivot in the sense that we've changed our strategy, but certainly in terms of what we're focusing on, we've really oriented toward working with these strategic partners, refining the units, integrating what they have, the solutions they have, and going forward. And I just want to take a minute to mention a few of those. I mentioned Airtonomy and Skyscopes. Companies that joined us from outside the state. One is from Missouri called Aerial Sport. They have a drone-mounted seed spreading equipment to do cover crops and land reclamation seeding, and making some great progress with that. Actually, the meeting at NDSU, they were part of that seminar there, got a great deal of interest there, and we're looking at several opportunities with them. Anglo Quebec is a reseller out of Northern Virginia. California that is very focused on sales to the Marines and Navy. And so we've signed a reseller agreement with them, and they're already making contacts within those branches of the service with us. Drone Amplify, by the way, Anglicotech is also set for virtual office at the Center for Innovation that is looking toward hiring people here to, because they're providing our field support as well for our drones. Drone Amplify is a company in Nebraska that does controlled burns delivery from drones, and we're in the process of integrating their system as well. So those were some of the companies that were joined us at the open house too. Additional money from Grand Forks will allow us to execute the plans necessary to stay on track to achieve the success we all envisioned when the loan was approved. Specifically, and this is working with the companies I mentioned, the funds will enable us to close on about 750,000 of sales on the existing models now in the next 9 months. We use the funds to support those sales, purchase the components necessary for delivery of the product, and complete some R&D and testing necessary for the integration for these partners that we're selling with. So to conclude, funding from Grand Forks has been instrumental in establishing a business here, and we're grateful for that. We've moved our headquarters here, have achieved over half of our target employment goals, and become an integral part of the North Dakota UAS ecosystem, the U.S.-based designer and manufacturer of unmanned platforms. We look forward to unseating as many of the Chinese platforms as we can with everyone's help. The partnerships we've already achieved demonstrate the tremendous progress we've made in laying the groundwork for the months and years ahead. And we've done all this despite the challenges of the last 6 to 9 months. We remain tremendously excited and optimistic about the future and dedicated to fulfilling our role as a key piece of the drone ecosystem here, bringing manufacturing to the region and assisting in realizing the diversification the state desires. And with that, I ask for your support in releasing the second half of the funds.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Nickel. And with the late start we got, we're needing to take care of some business. I'd like to have a longer discussion on maybe half today, but I hope that you will be willing to consider this perhaps a dress rehearsal, and you might be able to join us again next Monday for the Jobs Development Authority, which is when we'll be making the final approval. Assuming, yeah, yes. But in the meantime, thanks for the presentation, the update, and the tremendous importance of having corporate headquarters located here in Grand Forks. Questions or comments from committee members?
I think I'll just say that I support everything you're doing, and I'll ask those questions next Monday.
Just a couple comments. First of all, welcome to Grand Forks. Glad to hear Mr. Nickel. I will tell you, just looking at your letter of request, the most exciting part for me, there's many people in this room that have talked a lot about talent attraction and retention, and when you outline your 7 actors and 3 of them being UND graduates and keeping them here, and then also people coming back to the community, that was really exciting to read. So thank you for those efforts, and best of luck with it.
Well, thank you.
Could we also talk next week about payload? Because I know that was an important part of your work. Anything at this time? If there's no further comments or questions, looking for a motion. Motion for approval from Ms. Dockler. Second from Mr. Holt. Further comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Nickel. See you next Monday. Thank you, sir. Item next on the agenda. This is the C-Run update. Mr. Hanson.
Chairman, members of the committee, the C-Run, the COVID response unmet needs RLF, is the RLF that was capitalized with CARES Act funding that opened for applications on September 15th. That will close on October 15th. So far, we've had 20 individual business owners come forward with interest in the program, representing about 24 different businesses. We fielded questions from lenders as well in that process, and as we've learned from those, the city website now has an application that's live, a well as several templates and resources for those businesses. So as we're getting interest from business owners, we're doing our best to answer the questions and trying to streamline that process.
Very good. As I requested of Mr. Nick, I'm hoping you consider this a draft rehearsal and you might visit with us again next Monday. In the meantime, any questions or comments for Mr. Hanson? This doesn't actually require a motion, this is just information, but I'll give that information to JDA next Monday. Sounds when we can have a longer conversation. Thanks for your work. And Mr. Phelan, Tech Accelerator and Herald update.
Chair Webber, member of the Growth Fund Committee, just an update also of Amy Whitney from the Center of Innovations here virtually, so I'll call on her after I'm completed this summer. The bad news is that we did not get the EDA Build to Scale grant, and that was to provide programming as part of this accelerator. We didn't receive that. And just to summarize, that was going to be a $1.2 million program over 3 years, which is a 50-50 grant. So we were hopefully anticipating, and we didn't receive $600,000 from the EDA. We did have $300,000 that was committed locally from the Jobs Development Authority. Also, the remaining $300,000 was going to come from $100,000 from UND, and then the remaining $200,000 was going to come from private sector partners and the EDC, if you will. So, kind of our thought now is it was going to lapse. It was going to help us really start it up in a robust way, and so we have to do more of an incremental approach or ask other private sector partners to participate. I just want to give Mayor Buczynski did reach out to most of the private sector partners on the list, and they have committed regardless. It was a good idea before EDA, and it's a good idea now. So those were Midco, Choice Financial, Edgewood, Ideal Aerosmith, True North Equipment, and A2S with the EDC. And so Michael had committed, he hasn't reached them all, but a vast majority of those are committed to moving forward. And I suspect when I read through the list, I think if we wanted to go out and make it a more broad request, we could do that because there's a lot of other partners that I think would participate in that. So with Ms. Whitney, we have to do maybe Jobs Development Authority. We have a pretty big ask there, $100,000 over 3 years for $300,000. Working with UND and the Center of Innovation, this might be a little more homegrown on what we're going to do. We still want to move forward with that, so I just wanted to give you a heads up on that, and I wanted to make sure everyone understood the 3-year program that was really going to help us get set up, and eventually after 3 years, we're going to be on our own, and so I think we're just going to be on our own sooner rather than later, and maybe it has to be built to something larger as we move forward. The other piece was the EDA capital construction for the project, and we've been approved to submit the application. We are anticipating doing that this week, and we can now submit that grant knowing that we're not going to get the EDA Build to Scale, and so we'll have more of a refined operation of how we're going to programming and that sort of thing moving forward. We have reached out to Mr. Nichols here, and he said we want to create an ecosystem that's here, and really the Herald building is meant to be that U.S. Tech Center at the hub of our downtown and spread it throughout the entire community, so that concept is still alive and well. And so we're looking at whatever's recommendations, seeking from Northrop Grumman and Autonomy, so from large corporations to smaller startups about the need for this, and them wanting to participate, whether it's being a mentor or just being a startup phase as part of this. So we're working on that grant. We're working with the Center of Innovation with Amy Whitney and her team to get that put together this week. So those are the 2 updates on that, and I stand for any questions. And I'd also, Mr. Weber, look at it out to Amy Whitney so she can fill in any gaps that I missed. So you can hear.
Thank you. I think just to add to what Mr. Phelan reported, yes, we are disappointed that Plan A is not going to come to fruition as we had hoped. However, we are working diligently with Mr. Phelan and the mayor to recast a program that could demonstrate that we have the ability with some private sector partnerships and our committed collaboration as well at the center to bring this programming and vision together and forward with the city. A little bit of a smaller capacity than we were thinking, given that we have different resources that will come to bear with the project. But
this program moved forward in light of those partnerships that are there and committed. Also, with the hopeful piece here with the construction grant being able to utilize the space and capacity that supports the type of startups and technology companies and UAS companies that we're looking to support.
Right, and will you be able to join next Monday as well?
I will be able to join you next Monday, absolutely.
Very good. Thank you, Ms. Whitney. Any questions for either Amy or Todd at this time? Again, this is just information only. Anything further, Mr. Freeman? Thank you. Thank you, sir. And,
Thank you very much. I'm sorry I couldn't be that person today.